Is it your time for joy? Hi, I'm SomRa An'Ryka, and this video will help you determine that. My collaborative partner Isaac Moore and I have created an all-new program called It's Time for Joy, Unload and Uplift Through Light-Hearted Living. This video is divided into 3 parts. Part 1 is an interview with Master Chan, E.T. Ascended Master channeled by Jaraan Onai. Master Chan speaks about the importance of joy, levity, and lightheartedness in every aspect of life. This is an essential, often overlooked key to awakening and ascension, as well as abundance, help, and so much more. In part 2, you'll see demonstrations of our approach and techniques that easily accelerate your healing and transformation and create the life you love. In part 3, you'll see our funny, fast-paced spoof of a group facilitation. This gives you a sense of the playful and humorous approach that we'll be bringing to our program It's Time for Joy. So, is it your time for joy? Watch and find out. Oh, and if you're short on time and you need to skip ahead, be sure to watch at least some of part 2 so that you know what we're spoofing and you catch all the jokes in part 3. Enjoy!
Hi everyone, I am SomRa An'Ryka, ET Walk-In, Spiritual Awakening Teacher and Facilitator, Visual Artist, and Sound Channel.
Hi everybody, I'm Jaraan Onai, Certified Peer Support Specialist, Reiki Master, and Channeler for the ET Ascended Masters.
Hey everyone, I'm Isaac Moore. I'm a transformational facilitator and quantum techniques practitioner.
In my conversations with the ET Ascended Masters lately, they've been talking a lot about some key elements that have been missing in most people's spiritual journeys.
Oh?
So we've come together today to share with you some very helpful tips about this subject matter and the value of joy and lightheartedness.
Yay!
And to talk about our upcoming program called It's Time for Joy. So we're going to bring in Tobayachi Chansidi, otherwise known as Master Chan, ET Ascended Master, channeled by Jaraan, who's going to speak to us more about this subject. So sit back, relax, and receive.
Well, good afternoon, dear ones. This is Master Chan.
Good afternoon.
Delighted to share with you all today.
Yes, we're delighted to have you. So I consider you to be a master of joy, and you're always, like most of the Ascended Masters, in this kind of jovial state of just delighted with your beingness and with the experience of reality and flowing through you, however you would define it. And so it's really great to hear kind of what you have to share about this really important element of the spiritual awakening journey that so many people are missing out on anyway. And, we would call that joy, lightheartedness, playfulness. Can you speak more about this subject?
Oh, absolutely. Well, one of the things to understand about spiritual growth, and especially about spiritual awakening, is that you're growing from that polarity-based version of reality where you have the ups and downs, right? You have the highs and lows and all that sort of thing, but you're evolving into a oneness state of consciousness where that doesn't exist really. It's just variations of love, variations of joy, variations of peace, essentially. And so, but one of the things to understand is that the more you practice levity, lightheartedness, the more you acknowledge that really is a part of your path, that's part of your life experience, is meant to be a part of your experience here, then the more you tap into that. And as you tap into that, you're tapping into your soul presence more fully, more deeply, and in more ways. So, we heartily recommend it. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to be happy all the time, and there's no point in trying to pretend to be happy when you don't feel it. But it is important to understand that presence of joy is within you. It's always there. that presence of peace that is innate to you, okay? It's always there. It's just more or less apparent. And so it's not about making yourself feeling it. It's more about just noticing that it exists, right? And one of the best ways to do that is through a practice of gratitude, practice of appreciation, okay? And, there's plenty of things in this world to be upset about. And there's plenty of things in your media to be upset about. And all that upsetness doesn't really help you progress. But it's understanding that's not all there is to this version of reality. That's not all there is to your life. And one of the most profound principles in the universe is balance, which means if you have a downside, then you also have an upside, okay? And here in this polarity-based version of reality, you have an opportunity to experience both sides, and that's part of the point. So if you've had some downsides, just understand that you have some upsides to match, right? If you've had despair, you have joy to match. If you've had any kind of stress, struggle, strife, then you have peace to match. It's within you already. It's simply a matter of acknowledging its existence, looking until you find it. It's like noticing that it's there because it wants to be discovered, I guarantee you. And it's not in any way demeaning or diminishing the challenges involved in living in a polarity-based version of reality. Those exist. But it's also about not denying yourself the peace, the joy that exists within you, okay? Because if you want to awaken, if you want to ascend especially, you're going to have to get used to joy. You're going to have to get used to peace. You're going to have to get used to gratitude, bliss, okay? Because the more evolved you become, the more that becomes your natural state. So no time like the present, literally, to get started, okay?
Indeed. So practicing now and cultivating it now actually helps evolve you more quickly into 5D oneness consciousness, right?
Absolutely.
It's not, says a lot of people are kind of like, it's like they're waiting for joy to happen, or they're basing their joy on, outer circumstances, which we know is not how it works. Joy is an innate state of being.
Indeed. It's a choice. Like everything else, it's a choice. Part of this version of reality, part of this universe, this is often called a free will universe, right? Which means you have the power of choice. You have been divinely endowed with the power of choice. So it really is just about exercising that choice. And whether or not your ego knows you have certain choices, those choices exist, especially for love, for joy, for peace. Okay? They absolutely do exist. They may not be so apparent, but they're absolutely there. If you exercise your volition in that way, you'll become to experience it more and more frequently.
Beautiful. And so can you make a distinction for us? There is a difference between thinking you're happy and actually being in an innate state of joy, expressing in the moment.
Yeah, indeed. Well, okay, so a lot of what people call happiness is really just ego-based self-satisfaction, right? I got my way. I got that raise at work, or I met the perfect relationship partner, or, whatever it might be. It's usually associated with external manifestations, all of which are temporary. And so, of course, a lot of people, you are conditioned in this version of reality to strive for external conditions that are supposed to, quote, quote, make you happy, okay? But they can't. They literally can't make you happy. They can make you distracted. They can make you self-satisfied sometimes if you get your expectations met. But that's not even remotely close to joy. And the way you know the difference is it's all conditional. It's based on circumstances. If this, then that. If I do this, then I can be happy. If I get that, then I can be happy. Well, joy has no such conditions. It's literally, you tap into it, it exists. It's there. It's there for you to experience anytime, anywhere. And it's also not subject to external conditions. So you can feel joy, peace, love, these divine essences, these soul level essences, you can literally feel them anytime. They're available to you anytime, Okay. Now, your conditioning may make it more difficult sometimes than others, but its existence is still there. Okay. It's just like the air that you breathe. Even if you're underwater, air still exists. Okay. You may have to come up from under the water to breathe it, but it still exists. And it's kind of the same way. In this version of reality, people are underwater a lot of times, and it makes it difficult to breathe that sweet, pure air of divine essence. But once you get above that water level, then there it is, free for all as much as you want, for as long as you want. Make sense?
Absolutely. Okay, and I know a lot of people listening want more of that. Give us the joy. We've been working so hard, many of us, on our spiritual awakening journey and not realizing that there's a point to it, and that point is something that's available to us right now. As you've said many times to me, Master Chan, that, what are you doing all this work for? What do you want to feel? And, you're working for the joy and what all comes with that. And it's available now.
Yeah, absolutely. The assumption is, of course, that's part of this conditional programming that is a part of this version of reality. It's one of the games, if you will, is to get beyond that assumption that I have to work for something. Okay. If you're a manifestation of source and source is infinite, then you are infinite, which means you contain everything. Okay. So it's not about having to work for it, and work is a 4-letter word,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can play just as hard for your development as you can work for it. And that may be a shocking concept for some people, but it's really true. Okay. And it can be quite daring of an ego to take a playful path toward things. Okay. And it's not to say that you don't have struggles, of course. Okay. But you can even bring a playful attitude to the struggle. Okay. That's possible. But remember, first, it's your choice. It's not about conditions. It's about your choice. And really, the only thing you have to work for, ultimately, is the realization that you have a choice that you can exercise at will.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. And when we talk about choice, what we're talking about in all of this is a more empowered approach to the journey.
Exactly. Well, most people assume that you are disempowered, right? The reason struggle exists is because of a belief in a lack of power, right? And on the one hand, we would agree with that from an ego perspective. You do lack power, but that's just the ego. You as a soul is infinite power, okay? And so when you go to the source of that infinite power, you get access to that infinite power. You get to utilize that infinite power. And sometimes it can be challenging only because of all the beliefs that say it's supposed to be hard, it's supposed to be difficult, the belief that instills a sense of pride in basically a life of hard labor. It's like I've suffered, but at least that makes me good, or that means I'm durable or whatever. And, that has its purpose in the scheme of things. And if you're going to evolve beyond 3D, you can't keep playing by 3D rules and expect it to work. Okay? You have to break 3D rules to embrace 5D reality. It's just how it is. And so one of those rules you can break is being somber, okay? Or being solemn, heaven forbid. Okay? It exists, and you can have it. Okay? There's a big slice of joy, peace, love pie right there for you if you're daring enough to take a bite. But it will mean you have to let go of the fears, the angers, the guilts, the shames, that kind of stuff, which just block your awareness. Okay.
Yes, and that's why Isaac and I are coming together along with you to create a program, a way of facilitating people in shifting and releasing these things that are in the way. And that's what we're super excited about. And what we're talking about, folks, is we're going to be offering a 4-week program in which we'll be able to help you clear a lot of those obstacles, those internal obstacles that are hidden inside, and as well as what you're conscious of, that's holding you back from that innate joy, that wellspring that wants to bubble up, right, Master Sean?
Indeed. You know,
It's just waiting.
absolutely, it's there. You came here to basically move through or navigate through certain illusions in order to experience, tap into, and experience that reality, that higher level reality in this version of reality. Okay. So really, a lot of times what people call ascension isn't technically ascension by the usual assumption. It's really more about bringing that higher state of consciousness into this version of reality. Okay.
Beautiful. Yes, yes. Okay. And also, I'm recalling you have said to me before, and correct me if I'm not quoting exactly, but you said most people have just as much repressed joy as they do repressed stuff.
Yep, absolutely. Sometimes way more, actually.
Yeah, I'm recalling, and of course, I worked with clients for 30 years and participants in my groups, and one of a common theme, for instance, is when like they were in church and they had to be all somber and serious and they got the giggles and they couldn't control it. They were just little kids, and then they got punished for it. Or other situations where you're playing and you're told you're too loud or you're yelled at or there's punishment. And those things got associated with joy. And so joy became a thing that's like, oh no, something bad's going to happen if I let myself, cut loose. So is there anything you'd like to say about that?
Yeah, cut loose anyway. And yeah, yes, those are very significant factors for a lot of people. And one thing I'd like to point out about that particularly is many times, especially if you're already, if you're a physical adult, say 21 and above, more than likely, a lot of that stuff has been repressed. You don't even remember. And the older you are, the more likely it is to be repressed. And so you may not even know why you would avoid having fun or just relaxing. Okay. Because that's another thing about levity. It's a very, very relaxing. It's not a shock at all that they say laughter is the best medicine. Okay. And it is in so many ways. There's hormonally, there's all kinds of brain chemicals that get activated. There's all kinds of physiological as well as psychological and spiritual benefits to practicing levity in whatever way is meaningful to you. Okay, it's not frivolous. Okay, you may have been taught that it was frivolous or it was offensive, but humor, lightheartedness, is anything but. It's very akin to the divine. Okay.
Yeah, the divine's having a good time, right?
Absolutely. Whether you know it or not.
Right.
But the key is, the aim is for you to know it too. Okay. So that you partner with the divine more consciously.
Oh, right. Partnering with the divine. Is there something else you wanted to say about that?
Yeah, well, more consciously, part in that too.
Yes.
Okay. Because you really can't escape the partnership, but you can miss the joy of that partnership. Okay. Why do people want relationships? Right? It's not just for, okay, I need you to do this part while I do that part so we can survive. It's not just that. It may be that, but it's not just that. It's also because of the joy of that communion, the meaningfulness of that communion, the shared bliss or the shared love, the shared whatever positive experiences or pleasant experiences are part of a relationship. We can have that same kind of relationship with your soul and have the same kind of delightful experiences. Okay? But when you consciously partner with that divine essence, what do you call it, soul, higher self, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really matter. Okay? When you partner with that, then you are communing at a much higher level. You are humming at a higher pitch. We'll put it that way, because most people can relate to that. Okay. And that has profound significance for your evolution and for your well-being generally.
Yeah, we know there's lots of studies that proves that laughter is the best medicine. You know, your body systems flow better when you're more relaxed, and that lightheartedness on a daily basis as a cultivated state of being and attitude keeps your body systems flowing very well. Correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And on top of that, it's like when you're in that energetic space, remember, people talk about like the mirroring, right? Or as without, so within. And the more you cultivate that state, that levity state, that higher state of being, okay, I wonder if there's levity and levitation. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. But the more you cultivate that, okay, then the more that's the energy you're putting out into your circumstantial reality, your version of reality, this world, right? And so that's what manifests. And so the more lighthearted you are, the more you radiate that, the more you attract experiences that correspond. How is that not a win-win?
Total win-win. Bring it. Okay. So it also sounds like the more relaxed we are, and therefore the more open we are, the more lighthearted we are, that also opens us to greater abundance and prosperity, right? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so whatever track you're on, and people talk about it like, I'm in a rut. I need to get out of my rut, right? So it's like whatever track you're on, that rut has become solid. It used to be soft mud, but then you put some tracks through it and then it hardened. And relaxing is a way of not only relaxing your body, but you're relaxing your emotions so that you have greater access to inspiration. Okay. That's really, from our perspective, one of the greatest values and purposes of relaxing is to be able to access inspiration. And inspiration that will take you in the direction you want to go. People, oftentimes they may not create specifics, but they can actually create challenges through their worrying, which is fear. You're projecting fear into the future. And even if you don't create the exact thing you worry about, it's certainly not as much fun. Okay, whatever the future is not as much fun. So what if you were to relax? What if you were to open to inspiration? What if you were to just let go of all the things you think it's supposed to be and let go of all the ways you think it's supposed to happen and just be aware of what is? Okay? Because your ego conditioning is going to tell you what it thinks it is, what it believes it's supposed to be, while completely overlooking the reality. Okay? But the reality is what you need to get to. And you don't get to that by fighting for it. You get to that by relaxing into it. So, yeah, chill.
Which is one of the hardest things for people, especially spiritual people, because we so much want to evolve. We so much want to improve our existence and, ultimately transcend. It's a heart calling, but, we're also motivated by many discomforts and things, which you have talked about as well. So, folks, in our 4-week program, It's Time for Joy, we're going to be sharing so many deep tidbits, which sounds like a contradiction or a oxymoron, but they are, and simple things that can take you far if you take them deep and really let them expand your consciousness. And each week we're going to be facilitating, we're going to be having group facilitations where we're going to be helping you clear a lot of these things out of the way. We're going to be having lots of fun in the process. So thank you so much for sharing today, Master Sean. Always a pleasure.
Oh, you are very welcome, beloved. And yes, if I would leave one last thought, it's please remember, transformation can be fun. And that's how it's supposed to be.
Transformation can be fun, everybody. Yay!
Beautiful. Have a glorious rest of your day, beloved. We will look forward to seeing you in your dream time and next time, whenever that should happen to be, eh?
Pretty enlightening, huh? In our program, It's Time for Joy, you'll have access to the full 90-minute interview with Master Chan, where we discuss deeper questions like, is pain required on the spiritual journey? Is there a time for appropriate seriousness? What about sacredness? And much more. Now in part 2, you'll see segments from our prior program, Ready for Prosperity. These demonstrate our intuitive techniques that help us identify and clear underlying issues that are holding you back, including those you may not even be aware of. Isaac uses quantum techniques. This includes an advanced form of muscle testing that detects blocks, misalignments, lower frequencies, and other things that interfere with your transformation and optimal state of well-being. You'll see him doing tapping and other unusual motions. He's using his own body as a proxy for finding and clearing these blocks and interferences. Meanwhile, I'm working both further out in the group consciousness field as well as detailed systems like chakras, etheric pathways, things of that nature. I often liken our approach to a burning bowl ceremony. That's where people write down on a piece of paper issues and other matters that they want to let go of. And then they burn the paper in a fire-safe bowl as a kind of energetic release. And of course, these are just the issues they're consciously aware of. Similarly, Isaac and I access the collective patterns, blocking beliefs, emotions, and other interferences. Except these are things that are unconscious that are blocking your goals, healing, and transformation. We provide a kind of virtual giant bowl. And as we identify each issue and interference, that vibrationally calls them forth into the bowl. As the facilitation unfolds, we'll be clearing many layers. At the end, we take everyone through a more extensive clearing process while also realigning and reconnecting circuits and attuning everyone to Source, the divine, and their soul presence. It's an amazing process. And who knows, you may experience some healing shifts just watching these clips. In our program, It's Time for Joy, we'll be bringing a playful, lighthearted energy to these techniques, along with some fun surprises. Okay. Yay, we made it. And I'm so glad you guys are here. Let's do this. This is going to be awesome. Isaac and I have been working together with people here and there for the past few years and gotten really great results. And we were like, let's pull this together and see if we can really help people clear stuff quickly and just get those vines and weeds out of the way. So we're going to go through just a couple of introduction things, and then we're going to dive into the facilitation. So as we go along, hopefully you got your paper and pen, and you're going to be taking notes as we go. Now, don't feel like this is something you got to write everything down. That's not the point at all. Be casual about it. Be relaxed. And you're mostly just going to be in a receptive space as we're doing this work. But the note taking is for when something really jumps out at you, like your spirit talks to you and says, ooh, that, or you just kind of feel a gut feeling or whatever, or you feel an emotional connection or wave or a tear with something that one of us says. Isaac's going to be doing a lot of the talking as he's doing the detective work. I'm going to be working broader in the field, but I might say something too that I'm picking up. So like an issue, fear of failure, if that comes up, and right then, as that's spoken and that vibration is tapped, you might connect with it. Now, most of us know there may be some sort of fear of failure somewhere in our consciousness, but the goal here is to really connect with it and bring it forward. You don't have to necessarily think about it or go into anything deep. This isn't an emotional process group. If you have emotions, let them flow. But it's just more like notice, jot it down, and we'll give you some suggestions to do with it at the end and in between our meetings. So we're focused on transformation, but we want to kind of have a fun energy about it. Feel free to type in the chat if something really grabs you and it's like, oh, I've got that issue. Make sure you specify what it is, because by the time you're done chatting, we might be on to something else. But what that does is that kind of helps keep that group energy going and connection. And we found it often spawns awareness in each other about it. And so somebody else might go, oh, yeah, I got that too. And that's just kind of that group energy. But for the most part, don't feel like you got to do that. It's just an option. We want you to kind of be in your own healing bubble space in this, and don't feel obligated to do anything like
Well,
that.
the idea behind that is awareness is half the battle. So if you are able to relate to somebody else's experience, and you're like, I think I might have a little bit of that, then that's you've discovered some information right there. So that's good stuff to go forward with.
Yeah, exactly. In just a moment, I'm going to put us in a healing space, a golden bubble healing space, and just kind of seals the space so that we don't have external influences. I'll also be in that process. I'll be calling forth your own divinity and your own divine ideal, divine blueprint, so to speak, of the perfection that you are as in your true self, your true being. And so you might feel kind of the power in that, as the angels and guides and your angels and guides are all coming in, and we're all gathering to really support you in this facilitation today. All right, so now we're going to get a little into the process, and then I'm going to put us in the golden bubble. The idea is to connect with the feeling of that state that you're heading towards, of that way of life that you're heading towards. And that actually helps draw it to you more quickly. So some of you may be writing a lot of stuff and just need a few things to connect with the energy. Feel free to add to this list at any time in the spaces between our meetings, and anytime to just keep connecting with that and letting your psyche get that it's a real thing. A lot of times we've lived our lives where it just seems like that's something out there someday. And we kind of keep it at that length, no matter where we are on our journey, that it's out there someday. And it doesn't have to be that way anymore. I mean, now's the time to really connect with that creatorship ability and really realize that can be now. And in participating in this group, you have help in that happening faster for you and more easily for you. Okay, now Isaac's going to begin doing a second layer of testing to make sure that we're clear of all influences. We want to make sure that's gone. And then we're going to begin the facilitation.
So as I'm clearing, this is going to be, I have a list called a gauntlet list. This is going to be an additional gauntlet list.
So when he's talking about gauntlet lists, he has his notebook with a lot of different categories and lists. And gauntlets is just another set of categories that's looking for blocks and barriers to the actual getting to the issues that we need to get to. So that'll be the first phase of this facilitation process, is identifying what those are, clearing those, and then we can actually get to the deeper layers.
100% free of all spiritual deception, interference, obstruction, attack, attachments, 100% clear of all non-physically attached fields. Yeah, so all of that test is there's a lot of interference. I'm hearing don't want me to be happy, parents, spouse. So it's like people, there's attachments and voices out there that don't want us to be happy. When I say us, I'm bringing in everybody's energy as one avatar, so we're treating kind of everybody's stuff at one time. So if any of this resonates, as we said, just kind of write these things down, and you're like, oh yeah, no, that person doesn't want me to do well or something like that.
And sometimes it's unconscious. The parent doesn't even know that, or the spouse doesn't even know that they're actually thinking or feeling that. They might be secretly insecure and not want you to progress beyond them. That's very common, unfortunately. So we're going to be getting to those things as well and helping free you from their influence, even if it's unconscious. And of course, we're including everyone who will ever listen to this audio. So anybody who's listening to the recording, as well tune in that may be related to you.
All right, so we bring that into the field. There's something else. 4 obstructions. Interestingly, one of those is TV or mass media.
That some of our participants are being influenced by that or obstructed by that.
Yes.
Okay, something's dissipated in all of that. I don't know if you feel it. Sometimes just calling it out, folks, really helps it just clear.
3 additional attachments.
So sometimes when we clear a level of attachments, then another layer can come forward. So we're just getting all this stuff out of the way. I'm hearing to tone a sound, Isaac. Let's see how much that shifts, okay? All right, everybody just receive the sound. If you feel guided to tone 2, your mics are off, so you can as well.
$121. I know what will make me happy.
That's ego.
Yes.
Yeah. So sometimes we keep insisting what we think we know will make us happy. Happiness, of course, comes from within, but parts of the arrested development child selves think they know, and it may be translating to your current life. Like if you think you need a relationship to make you happy, or if you think you need this or that. And so he's uncovering that that's actually in the way of actually being happy and being open to what your real soul self knows will actually make you happy, which could include that thing, not to say make you happy, but more like awaken your joy. But it's much broader than that. So we have to stretch and drop that old attachment. Laundry detergent, sprays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's always ideal to use natural products in your home, but you still could be holding frequencies. If you grew up with certain things, those frequencies can still be actually in your consciousness and blocking your brain and blocking the flow of certain things.
I want to bring in all those frequencies from childhood and anything else that might be stuck in the system. There's something else that we need to bring in.
Asbestos?
Is asbestos one of these man-made frequencies that is coming up? Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. I'm also hearing tar, like road tar.
Yeah, that test's true. I'm also getting radium, which has not been used in years, but there seems to be a generational field with that. It used to be used in watch dials and so forth to make them glow, and it's highly, highly toxic. My husband or children do not listen to me, or I do not feel heard. Okay. So basically, this is about not feeling heard. Unconscious resistance to your spiritual goals. 141. Someone else is envious of me. Actually, I'm hearing this is about holding yourself back so that other people won't be envious. Okay, so let's clear that as a curtain. There's something else that we need to bring in as an open door, or I feel powerless. I'm hearing intention to get love. So what else in the field? God wasn't there for me during trauma. So that is a curtain. What else might be blocking this? Intention to distract oneself from their own healing by focusing on the problems of others. So that is a curtain.
Often we feel powerless in our own issues to resolve them, so we distract ourselves by focusing on other people's issues that we falsely believe we can fix.
5D consciousness is a curtain. What I'm hearing is it's not understood. It's like the unknown. And so there's resistance to it. So that's a curtain in this field is that loss of the known. And I mean, everything's going through a big shift right now. So, we don't know. Everything's unknown, it seems like.
So we got to get comfortable with the unknown,
Clear
because
this.
the unknown could be good, just as good as it could be unpleasant. So why not project into your reality, because you are the manifester of your reality, what you want to feel, not how these things out there should be, but how you want to feel. And your reality adapts around that. Your hologram adapts around that. And that's part of moving, shifting to 5D and understanding, living in that consciousness that you are projecting. You are in command. Well, we got to heal this unconscious stuff, right? Because we don't realize that's what's projecting most of the time.
Yeah, so what I'm seeing is basically a child that is pitching a tantrum and saying, I can't do it. Okay, let's just bring that in. Do we need to know more about this? So collectively as a group, we just want to speak to everybody's energy, and we want to bring in the key time for everybody when they got frustrated when they couldn't do anything. And most of that's probably going to be from childhood. So a specific time. And if you want to think about this in your own way, you can. Maybe something pops up, or it could be adulthood as well. Sometime when you really tried to do something and that really triggered something inside you that just you felt defeated.
Or you were held back, like there was one barrier after another showing up.
Is this a guilt feel? There's a guilt feel in experiencing pleasure. Pleasure in this sense, I think, relates to a good life. So there's some guilt about having a good life when others can't. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So this is the age-old thing, the have and the have-nots. Life is unfair. These people have this and I can't have it. Or if you have it, they're feeling guilt about people that can't have it. And this is a mindset shift we've all had to come to at some level, because we attract into our life what we resonate with internally. And we can do all kinds of stuff in the external world to make somebody be up to a certain economic standard. And if they're not internally aligned with it, it can still go back to where it was or not work so well.
Others have to feel okay with my success before I can be successful and prosperous. If that person or those people can never feel okay, well, then and you've made that a contingency, then you can't progress into what you're wanting. It
Right.
has to be okay that they're not okay with it inside of you.
You're putting the power of joy into somebody else's hands, into some other external condition. Right. Something else we need to bring in specifically: stepping out into the world.
I was going to say, so folks, I've mostly been working on your lower chakras where a lot of the heavy stuff is. We've had some great shifts in these last few minutes, and now I'm suddenly shifting guided to the throat chakra, and that's expression, of course. Stepping out, expressing. And again, these may be totally unconscious. You may not think of yourself as someone that's striving for outer power. I'm also seeing a series of past lives in most everybody where that was a quest, as well as at least 3 people have it in their family lineage, that pattern, that field. So we're working on clearing that from your DNA right now. There's something called neuroplasticity, which was discovered in the 90s, and that it used to be believed that the brain neurons stayed stuck once you were developed from childhood, and it was always that way. But it was discovered that no, they move constantly. So every time you heal something, you make a shift, those neurons shift. They're actually responding to your consciousness pathways that are in your field as those shift and the brain shifts and the body shifts. So I'm working down in those levels, helping to ease that process.
This is new sludge since I cleared last. Yes.
If you feel like it, everybody, as he's doing this, go take a deep breath, make a sound if you can. Just like you're emptying out just old icky stuff. Good, especially from the gut. If you want, you can breathe in your favorite color into the places which you just emptied out. Breathe in more light, particularly gold is attuned to the soul, whatever you feel guided to do. Pleasant colors filling in what you're emptying out with the light, love, and truth of the divine.
You know, all of this process is about being aware, more awareness. And I'm hearing this week to be more aware of your interactions and to watch for places that you're giving your power away. And it can be the smallest thing where you didn't speak up and you feel like you should have. And you know, you got to pick your battles and whatnot, but sometimes you do have to pick that battle and start somewhere. Could be, where are we going for food tonight? And you didn't get what you wanted and you just let somebody else do it because you thought that was going to be their happiness or joy.
Or keeping the peace or whatever.
Keeping the peace or whatever. Yeah. So giving your power away. I'm ready to do the final clearing. So 100% free of all spiritual deception, interference, obstruction, attack, attachment, 100% clear of all non-physically attached fields. Have 100% of the information and cooperation, physical and non, to clear this through the body. Yes. Okay. So we just want to clear any reversal, put everything in autonomic balance, clear through, and we just want to clear all entry points, atypical entry points, especially what we came up with, that urinary, the vaccination. All right, clear that. Here, 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 and here. I want to just clear this through all of these spaces, especially that pituitary, liver, and kidney, and the ovaries, and the lymph. Something else? No. I'll clear this through all cranial nerves, sutures, sensory brain areas, especially that 7, and all spinal nerves and segments. I just got to the spot where we're in the brain wave. So we just want to clear any of those associations from that alpha brainwave state that we experienced as childhood. I'll just clear all of those brainwave areas and states. There's something else we need to include in this field for today. Get a note.
Woohoo. All right, everybody take some deep breaths and drink a few sips of water as you integrate what just happened. I'm working on just balancing and grounding. You may want to squinch your toes a little bit, help bring your energy down into your body. Good. Everybody tap on the gamut point, which is right between the pinky and ring finger on the back of either hand. Like that, just take 3 fingers and tap on that point. Repeat out loud after me, and Isaac, you can be the repeater. And what this does, this particular point has to do with the triple warmer, which has to do with change. So we're anchoring in the changes that we made, helping your meridian system and other consciousness systems to accept the change and not reinstall or reclaim any old patterns. So we're done. We're done with those old patterns. Here we go. So everybody repeat out loud if you can, or just in your thoughts if you can't speak out loud where you are. My mind, body, heart, and spirit
My mind, body, heart, and spirit
are receiving the new information now,
are receiving the new information now,
whether I believe it or not,
whether I believe it or not,
or feel it or not.
or feel it or not.
New pathways in my brain are formed.
New pathways in my brain are formed.
I understand that I am healing
I understand that I'm healing
throughout all my consciousness,
throughout all my consciousness,
including the original beliefs from past events,
including the original beliefs from past events,
all my past lives,
all my past lives,
future experiences,
future experiences,
and all timelines,
and all timelines,
all dimensions, all parallels.
all dimensions, all parallels.
I am grateful.
I am grateful.
that all of this is healed and released now.
that all of this is healed and released now.
All is well.
All is well.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Okay. We're talking about the shifts we've had since last week. It says, I was absolutely giddy for a while after the last group, feeling more peaceful and trusting. Lots of insights the next day about deep old stuff clearing. Awesome. And so also, let's see, you said, yes, for me also a lot of clearing, sometimes not knowing where that all came from. Yes. But I was more aware of my beliefs. Awesome. Awareness is an important key to transformation. Definitely a lot of energetic clearing this past week. Today I experienced a couple potential triggers, but just feeling it and letting it go. Deeper trust. Beautiful.
Says definitely an expanding week for sure. Lots of beautiful things being let go of, deeper trust in life and myself, doing a lot of integration. Awesome. Yes.
I felt like, a totally new person just after the one session. So I'm really excited for the rest of the month here. So thank you both. I really appreciate it.
And now for part 3, our humorous spoof of a group facilitation. This doesn't depict the exact techniques we'll be using, but it gives you a sense of the playful, lighthearted energy we'll be sharing. After all, it's about helping you awaken your own joy. And hey, if you want to ascend, you gotta lighten up. Ha! Oh, be sure to watch in full screen so that you catch all the visual jokes. Let this spoof brighten your day and facilitate abundant light, love, and laughter for you. And to join our program, It's Time for Joy, click the link below for all the details. Joy and blessings to you. Welcome everybody. We got us in the golden bubble. We've created our sacred space. Now let's dive right in.
I'm already picking up that everybody's funny bone is offline, and their clown chakra too. SomRa, what do you get?
Yes, I'm getting that too. I'm working on it now. But we're getting a lot of interference. I'm hearing beliefs like, now you have to do all of your chores before you can go out and play.
Oh, man.
I'm picking up some heavy emotional energies. Disappointment, anger, feeling invalidated and deflated.
Okay, let's definitely clear those from the field.
Okay, everybody connect with those emotions a moment while we release them.
Great, everybody, that's working. I'm getting 60% clear.
I'm getting that I'm supposed to channel a song coming through. Oh, mama, you forgot life was about having fun all along. Hang out with me and play while we clean up and get all our work done. Okay, now everybody go, yeah!
Okay, that got it. And there's another blocking belief coming up.
Life is meant to be serious. Spirituality is serious. Suffering is your salvation.
Oh Lord, let's set that one straight. Okay, I'm on it. Darth Vader, seriousness and suffering were never a part of my original message, nor the message of any true spiritual teacher. Power-hungry political figures like yourself, who wanted to keep people oppressed, imposed those false beliefs. Those beliefs distracted people from their inner power, so that the so-called leaders could enslave them in a matrix of servitude. This has been programmed deep in people's minds, even if they never consciously believed it. But now the people are waking up. They no longer need you.
Thank you, Jesus. We'll do some rewiring.
I'm hearing some tones to channel. Oh, no, that's just the ringtone on my phone.
Well, it's working. Everybody's feels are shifting. The next layer of beliefs are coming up, though.
But if I relax and enjoy every moment, nothing gets done. The bills don't get paid. My life will fall apart.
SomRa, I'm hearing that we need to bring in some backup.
Okay, I'm on it. I'll take this one. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that you believe that you've been holding it all together all this time. But the truth is, the divine love that animates your life has been doing it all along. You're meant to have fun and relax into that love and let it guide your choices. That's where the real power is.
Wow, great insights, Wonder Woman. Everybody take a deep breath to integrate that.
Now everybody stand up if you can and jump up and down. Shake off all those old energies. Cut loose. Let it all out. Good job.
Okay, that cleared it. The next layer of beliefs is coming up.
Only children and fools play. Life is about hard work.
Oh, great. Looks like more servitude programs.
Let's get to what's underneath.
Not the master of truth.
What's really driving you?
I'm just an insecure, wounded child. I've been a slave in the Matrix too. I use anger, fear, guilt, and denial to convince myself and others that I, as an ego, have power, when really I have none.
This is great. Some major shifts are happening now.
Join me and experience the power of the light side. Wait, what did I say? I'll join in the fun with you. Yippee!
Neo, it looks like they're ready.
Let's do this, Trinity.
Operator, we've got a crowd of people ready for an exit.
Operator here. One moment, please. It's on the corner of Joyful Street and Playful Way, right in front of you. Where is it?
He says we're already there. We're just not seeing the exit phone. Oh, wait, here it is. It's been under a pile of papers on my desk. Okay, everybody hold on. Here we go.